to introduce Carlos Tavares, the chairman of PSA Peugeot Citroën.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to attend this executive forum and share with you some thoughts about how the car industry needs to evolve to meet the challenges and embrace the opportunities of the new mobility revolution. Believe it or not, we are going to see more changes in the automotive industry ecosystem over the coming decade than we have seen in the past century, and it will be much more radical. It will be a full-scale transformation, a paradigm shift that will go far beyond the breakthroughs of the past, that will trigger an entirely new future for cars, the automotive industry, and technology as a whole. Major evolutions in society needs are indeed underlying the whole transformation. First, the world is moving from ownership to experience. This shift may take longer for cars than some headline statements suggest, because a large proportion of consumers still feel a strong emotional attachment to the car they own. But the shift is definitely underway. Cars will be means of transport whose real value lies in what they can be used for and in the experience of life they can offer to consumers. In this context, car companies will become mobility service providers by offering intelligent mobility services, such as car sharing for people who cannot afford or who do not want to own a car. Other services could include everything from satellite navigation guides to available parking maps, instant traffic jam avoidance, to sophisticated driverless services in urban areas with access limited to such autonomous vehicles. Going forward, connectivity will not simply be a nice-to-have feature, but an intrinsic part of every vehicle, seamlessly and continuously connecting the car and its users to the outside world and to their own clinic world. In fact, having become accustomed to instant internet access at home and at the office, people expect the same services when in the car. And what is underlying this continuous connectivity need? Time itself. Because time is a scarce resource in today's societies. All the services that can make the customer's journey as efficient and enjoyable as possible are valuable from that point of view. And this is why PSA Connectivity Roadmap is based on 3 stages focused on this core need. Save time by 2016, easy life by 2018, and enjoy life by 2020. Based on this roadmap, we are going to gradually introduce a range of solutions, starting with maintenance reminders, mirroring, connected and extended navigation, then remote services, such as home automation, for example, health monitoring, and in a final stage, car-to-car, car-to-infrastructure, and predictive driving technologies. This continuous connectivity must also be used as a tremendous lever to enhance car safety by helping vehicles communicate with their external environment and leading the way to the autonomous driving. As I am sure you know, almost 90% of road accidents are currently due to human error. Therefore, no doubt that autonomous driverless cars will contribute to greater safety. They will also be one of the solutions to urbanization growth, not only in the mature markets, but also in emerging ones, considering that by 2050, 70% of the world's population will live in urban areas. On this point also, PSA roadmap on advanced driving assistance systems is set. The first step is called hands-on by 2016, with the driver still keeping hands on the wheel, but helped with functions such as autonomous braking and driving assistance solutions. The second step, called hands-off by 2018, will introduce fully automatic city parking and full driving assistance. And lastly, eyes-off by 2020 will bring, for example, remote parking capabilities and will make the autonomous driverless vehicle a reality. Considering that consumers won't accept to be forced to make a trade-off between a self-driving connected car and a safe car, safety being one basic human need, it is paramount that new technologies and services provide reliable answers. Nor will consumers want to choose between an environmentally friendly car and a connected one. The vision to converge on zero-emission cars, considering the whole system, from well to wheel and not only from tank to wheel, will also be one of the major challenges the car and the energy ecosystems will have to overcome. And that's where we come in, all of us. We are going to have to join forces. Relationships between conventional players and new entrants must change and evolve. It's a reality that new entrants in the form of high-tech companies are stamping their mark on this new mobility world. Our roles are increasingly intertwined. Because we need each other to transform our business models as we seek to invent new and different forms, patterns, and modes of mobility for the future. Today, new technology is coming on stream at breakneck speed, so quickly, in fact, that the regulatory environment is always one step behind. This is important because laws and regulations need to keep pace with industry developments, shaping a world in which these technologies can thrive. Think about it for a minute. The Vienna Convention on Road Traffic, originally designed to facilitate the international movement of vehicles and to increase road safety, was signed back in 1968. In other words, the framework document that governs our mobility came into force several generations ago, and it's still in place. The industry desperately needs greater visibility so that it can provide the solutions to meet future needs as efficiently as possible. In order to invest with confidence in the most effective path, we need regulatory visibility. This is particularly true when it comes to autonomous or driverless cars, which will be mobility solutions for the years to come. The challenge of sustainable and responsible mobility should inspire us to collaborate rather than distrust one another, and pool our talents rather than keep them to ourselves, so that they can meet the best expectations of our customers more effectively. In consequence, we must provide the very best we have to offer as individual entities, because each of us has acknowledged expertise in specific areas. It's up to us to come together to design and build this new ecosystem and determine how to share the value that will be generated in tomorrow's extended automotive business. According to a research study published in early September of this year by A.T. Kearney, this extended automotive business is expected to be worth some 500 billion euros 2 decades from now, the equivalent of 17% of the car market in 2035. The study also says that around half of that value will come from selling driverless cars, with the other half coming from active safety applications, services, and systems. The automobile was invented to connect people and locations, bringing them closer together as efficiently and effectively as possible. It supports a fundamental freedom of our democracies, that is to say, freedom of mobility. Even though these days cars have attracted a great deal of criticism simply because of what they represent, they aren't sufficiently appreciated either for their purpose, which is mobility, or for their social function, the critical ability to connect people and locations. These advantages are not sufficiently taken into account by today's decision makers, who are often very city-oriented in their thinking. This is something that needs to change. Looking to the future, we have to make sure that cars continue to play this vital role of creating mobility freedom, something that we have done so successfully for more than a century. This is a fundamental asset of modern society, and one that has implications far beyond the scope of our industry. In conclusion, I urge you to join me in building a sustainable future for cars, for mobility, and above all, for people. Thank you for your attention.